Story Africa TV, Africa's voice in every frame.
Dara and Kenny were the kind of couple everyone loved instantly. They were young, playful, charming, and totally obsessed with making each other laugh. Their journey started with simple TikTok videos, filmed in their tiny Lagos apartment. But what began as a bit of fun quickly exploded into millions of followers. Their page, DK Pranks, became a daily ritual for fans all across Africa and even beyond. Imagine the scene: flower bombs going off in the kitchen, fake snakes hidden in the laundry basket, surprise water splashes when they least expected it, and absolutely hilarious jump scares. People adored their chemistry, their infectious laughter, and honestly, they adored the fame that came with it. But fame has a way of wanting more. It has a hunger all its own. As their view counts soared into the millions, so did the pressure to keep outdoing themselves. The comments section, once a place of pure fun, started to change. People wrote things like, "Do something extreme," or "We want danger," and push it even further. These comments started to get into their heads. They planted a seed. One night, while scrolling through their analytics, watching the numbers climb, Kenny decided they needed a true viral moment, the kind of video nobody ever forgets. He pitched the idea to Dara. At first, she was hesitant, even outright refused. It felt wrong. But then, the flashing images of potential sponsorship deals came to mind. The ever-increasing subscriber count, the dream of leaving their tiny flat for a studio apartment on the island, the future they had always talked about. With a heavy heart and a mind full of what-ifs, she finally agreed. The plan was, in hindsight, both simple and incredibly stupid. Kenny would stage a fake kidnapping while Dara live-streamed their reaction video. It was supposed to be the ultimate prank. They hired two friends to help them pull it off. They bought masks and found a location: an old, abandoned warehouse in Ogudu that looked perfectly menacing on camera. Everything was scripted, down to the last detail. Every scream, every panicked look was planned. Everything was supposed to be completely harmless, a performance, nothing more. The live stream began. Dara walked into their apartment, phone in hand, acting like she was just getting home. She called out, "Kenny, babe, where you day?" Her voice echoed slightly in the empty room. Then, on cue, came the sounds of a struggle from off-camera, footsteps pounding. Suddenly, two masked men burst into the frame and grabbed her. Dara let out a scream, just as they had rehearsed. But the scream that followed was not part of the script. It was real. In the chaos, one of the friends, one of the masked actors, slipped on the dusty floor. He fell hard, knocking over a stack of old shelves. A loose metal pipe came crashing down. It swung through the air and hit Dara squarely across the head. She collapsed to the ground, motionless. The camera, dropped in the fall, kept recording, its unblinking eye capturing the horror. The live stream, which seconds before was filled with laughing emojis, exploded with shocked comments. "Guys, this isn't funny anymore. Someone call an ambulance. Stop the prank." The illusion was shattered. Kenny, who had been waiting just off camera for his cue, rushed into the shot. The mask of the prankster fell away, revealing pure panic. He knelt beside Dara, shaking her, his voice cracking as he called her name. The two friends, terrified, ripped off their own masks, their faces pale with shock. The prank was over. The nightmare had just begun. But it was too late. The damage was done, broadcast live to millions of horrified viewers. Dara survived, but just barely. She suffered a fractured skull and spent 3 long days in a coma. When she finally woke up, she began a long, grueling recovery that took away her sense of balance for months. The internet, the same force that had built them up, turned on them with a vengeance. Their followers vanished overnight. Brands canceled their contracts. The police opened an investigation into the incident. The fame they had chased so desperately curdled into infamy. Kenny spiraled into a deep well of guilt. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. The first thing he did was delete their entire channel. Every video, every laugh, every prank gone. When Dara was finally able to speak, her first words to him were soft, broken, barely a whisper. She looked at him, her eyes filled with a pain that went far beyond the physical, and asked, "Was it worth it?" Kenny broke down, crying harder than he ever had in his entire life. The weight of that question, the weight of his actions, crushed him completely. They quit the prank industry forever. There was no going back. A few years later, Dara wrote a memoir. She called it Beyond the Laughs, Surviving Viral Pressure. And its pages, she exposed the dark side of online fame, the relentless obsession with numbers, the desperation for validation, the constant, draining need to perform for an invisible audience. It wasn't a viral sensation, but it became a quiet bestseller, connecting with people who understood that pressure. They never returned to the spotlight. They chose a quiet life, far away from the cameras and the comments. But sometimes, late at night, when the apartment is silent and the city outside is asleep, Kenny finds himself staring at the old ring light tucked away in the corner, a relic of their past life. And he thinks about how a single, desperate moment of chasing clout almost destroyed the person he loved most in the world. This story serves as a powerful reminder. What makes people laugh today could very well destroy a life tomorrow. The line between entertainment and danger is thinner than we think. And some pranks, some ideas, are best left in the imagination. If you or someone you know is struggling with the pressures of social media or mental health, please remember that help is available. Reaching out is a sign of strength. Thanks for watching. And remember to be kind to each other, both online and off.
Thank you for watching Story Africa TV. Follow and subscribe.